It's like TA and the Lycan. And the Brewmaster, of course. So there's a lot more for Mineski to work with here. Whereas TNC, it feels like they might not be able to get as much control going in team fights, but the potential is there. As long as they get a good silence, I guess, from Earth Spirit, that might be enough until the BKB start coming out. I think the big thing to watch out for is the early game of both sides. I think Mineski, if they get a good start in their Lycan, if he gets a good timing in his Dominator and his level 6, if the TA gets a good timing on the Desolator, and if KP just gets his levels, we could see a much stronger Mineski coming out here in game 2, Mike.
Well, as usual, John, all you and I want to see is the game number 3. So we'll see if Mineski can pull this game off and force it to the third game. I have to agree. I mean, look, their laning stage looks very nice for them right now. Like, the OD, not so good up against the TA. Arjit, probably not going to have too many issues, assuming he has support in the laning phase up against that Ursa. I mean, Gabby's just Gabby, right? Like, you're not really going to be able to kill the Morphling early on, but you can slow down his farm quite a bit. We'll see how it goes, though, because TNC, they do look very, very strong right now.
Faith in fate restored. Boiling rage.
Of course, the respect tips coming out immediately from both sides. Very nice to see. Kisses as well, John.
Just, just being friends. Just being nice and friendly towards each other. I mean, these teams have played each other a lot. It's just a tendency for Southeast Asia, right? You always see Mineski, you always see Fnatic, you always see TNC. And they've played against each other so many times that there's a bit of camaraderie between the teams. Between the players, really, in the region, so... Just a little bit of friendly jibbing at each other. A few kisses never hurt anyone, Mike.
No, definitely not. Cuckoo, gonna say hello to the Oracle, but Ninja Boogie, he will back off. You know, I was meant to ask you as well, John. AU on the Vengeful Spirit. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Because I know with the accent, it sounds like I'm saying AU as in Australia, which I kind of like as well. But is that meant to be pronounced differently?
My headcanon says AU as well.
Perfect.
But I imagine it's a bit more slang. I just can't get it that slang as some people would want.
It feels nice saying AU is the MVP of the game. Oh, actually, bot lane. Raging Potato being rolled on. He's in a lot of trouble right now. Tims can't slow him down any further, and Arjit was there just in case. But he does get stunned up as well, and it looks like they're going to dish out some further harassment out onto him. Close call coming out from Mineski. TNC not able to finish the job off.
I think that's actually a bit better for TNC in that way, because that does force Raging Potato to walk back and TP back in. So he wastes a lot more time by not dying there.
That's a very fair point. Ajit again, copying Magic Missile. The roll in as well from Tims, and I mean Ajit, he didn't go for that Pharaoh Impulse quite yet at level 1, so he's gonna have to munch through those tangos. Looks like this regen is gonna go rather quickly for Ajit. AU. The Earth Spirit just going to be making sure that he doesn't feel comfortable moving forward in that bot lane. Meanwhile, mid lane, of course, we do see Moon on that TA. He'll be up against Armel again on that OD, but I feel like this should ultimately just favor not favor Armel. It should favor Moon on that TA. Then again, Armel plays a nice OD.
Definitely so. It takes a few levels for the TA to really start dishing it out, but once it is up there, it's definitely much easier for the TA to keep that damage going compared to the OD. Of course, you can always do this as the OD, but the damage output's not as amazing as TA's raw right clicks with refraction up.
Top lane, Cuckoo. He'd get trapped up, but looks like he'll be okay. He was actually having a go at KP up at top lane, but luckily for KP, he did have help around him, and they do force Cuckoo back. He's just going to have to eat some tangos while he's waiting. It looks like he's just more than happy to soak XP for the moment. Well, mid lane, Armel, he salved up, but it gets cancelled. Raging Potato, he had an Invis rune up, and that's more than worthwhile for him. It's going to make Armel feel very uncomfortable in this mid lane up against Moon.
Definitely, sir. He's not having the worst time down here in mid, but his regen has been eaten up. So, gonna have to play a bit safer, especially with a threat of the sports just coming in. He's not in a very safe position to contest these last hits in a row.
Top lane, Cuckoo, gonna get jumped on, and looks like he'll just TP out of there, and he will not be okay. That is very unfortunate for Cuckoo, and they did him immediately. I mean, that was just... I thought he was getting out of there for sure, to be honest with you, but...
Unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate. Crit came out. What can you do when the dice roll's not in your favor, Mike? You just die.
Ah, shit. Again, magic missile and the roll. Copying a lot of damage, and they can't finish him off.
What?
Fisher will come out from Raging Potato, and it looks like they just weren't willing to go any further. I mean, to be absolutely fair, they didn't have any nukes left. They were kind of relying on those right clicks, and Marjit, he only has level 1 Feral Impulse, but it will slowly but surely heal him up.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he can just stay here in lane, take a couple of shared tangos, and soak some EXP again is pretty big for him. Again, as a Lycan, one of the biggest things for you is, despite early farm towards that Dominator, which is going to be great, is really hitting your 6 timing at a good point. And as long as Ajit isn't forced back completely to base, he should still have a good timing in that 6.
Raging Potato makes his way through the mid lane. Does have a double damage rune now. Won't be able to catch Armel out. Armel did have information there from AU, who scouted out the Earthshaker. And be okay for the moment. Of course, we do see Raging Potato rotate down to the bot lane, making sure he protects that Lycan and steals a bit of farm off AU on that Vengeful Spirit. Gabby actually finding Arjit by himself. Waveform Adaptive Strike was all that was necessary, and Gabby managed to find that one. It's going to make matters a lot worse for Mineski, right? Because Gabby's already farming pretty darn well as it is on that Morphling, while the Lycan's getting like nothing. In fact, I just looked over to the last hit score, John. The Lycan's Arjit, he's only on 1 last hit.
He's got 2 now, but it's not a good sign as the Lycan again. I mean, they can't kill him, at the very least, but he is most certainly not farming well, which is worrisome when you have your position 1 in this position, right? He's on the offlane, not getting anything done, not really harassing, slowing down Gabby's farm, and he hasn't quite secured any farm for himself. He's off into the jungle, and Lycan can still jungle quite well. It's not going to be as good or as fast as staying in that lane.
Yeah, look at Tim's as well, though. Just sticking around, soaking that neutral XP, taking the wolves off him as well. I mean, Tim's has more XP than the Lycan does right now, and Tim's was in a tri lane. Now, they will find Raging Potato. Body blocks are there as well from Tim's. Does have the roll, but doesn't really want to go for it. No need to risk it. Raging Potato has no regen items anyway, so not going to feel very safe in that bot lane. And they've really forced Arjit to just... I mean, it's going to take a long time for him to be online. And even when he does, it could be just way too late.
Yeah, they're going to lose this tier 1 bot at 6 minutes 20 seconds in. And that's a really early time to lose a tower to a Morphling for all heroes. Not the one you really expect to get a good push going, but Gabby has had a very good time down here, 45 to 21, leading the creep score by quite a fair bit, at the very least, and all doing some chip damage in that tier 2, Mike.
Yeah, AU scouting out Raging Potato will get caught with the magic missile, the waveform coming in. Gabby will claim himself a very nice kill onto that Earthshaker now. Raging Potato, he was just trying to soak XP, wasn't trying to start any trouble, but Gabby had none of it. That looks like the side of TNC will be more than happy to just back off to safety. I mean, he's already got that Morbid Mask up. He's got the treads now. Just go to the jungle and pretty much just get that safe free farm on that Morphling. I mean, he's still a solid 2 levels ahead of the Lycan anyway. He's going to be more than happy to just do this for a while.
For sure. Again, this is pretty much nearly what TNC did in the last game as well, with Morphling just secure, have a pretty decent lane.
Oh,
and
Moon.
then just have that farm.
Mid lane getting caught out thanks to the Astral of Armel. Can he get away? Sanities will not do the damage, and the uphill miss from AU will be very unfortunate. Moon really counting his blessings that time around. I mean, that was... Sanity's just barely not doing enough, and then you miss the uphill right click?
Yeah, that's just really bad dice rolls from TNC, unfortunately. And a nice little boon for Mineski, not losing the mid as well. You know, I feel like a lot of their mid-game momentum now is going to ride on Moon's farm and the timing of KP's itemization. If he gets pretty fast blink after this Midas, or, you know, all the items he needs, it should end up okay for Mineski. They can play bounce back quite nicely, buy some space for Ajit to farm up. But if they don't start applying some pressure back, I feel like they're going to lose a bit too much ground to really make up for it later on.
I was just watching Ajit on the Lycan, level 5 now, but just about 20 seconds ago, Tim's and AU were just sitting around soaking that XP from the neutrals once again. Just never allowing him to farm up safely. Ajit constantly having to put himself in a bit of danger, but just a bit of farm. Still slowly catching his way up. It's like you mentioned, KP doing a pretty darn good job on the Brewmaster as well. Second in net worth, only to the Morphling. Does have that full Midas up and has been using it for a couple minutes now. I mean, like you said, the Moon and KP, they've really got to try and carry this game until the Lycan gets a few items up, because TNC pull any further ahead, like this could be super bad for Mineski. In fact, Ninja Boogie almost getting caught out by Cuckoo, but now Cuckoo will loop around and will make his way out of there as well.
I'm surprised Cuckoo's getting away with so much in this top lane. He only died once, and the rest of the time he hasn't really been pressured, which is strange considering that he's in solo lane and he's an Ursa. He has no natural escape capabilities.
Raging Potato getting caught out mid lane. A very easy kill. Armel will secure the kill for himself. I believe we'll find himself a very nice arcane rune to top it all off. Pretty much make it a 3-1. A very slow game in terms of kills, but still a lot going on around the map.
Yeah,
Like
definitely slower than game one. Seeing both teams really just trying to find what they want from these lanes instead of bashing their heads at each other, which is fair. I mean, game one is usually a bit more active than game two, at least for teams that, you know, that tend to have played each other for quite a fair bit, and when these two teams have. So right now, it's just, you know, a calming down and just doing what they believe is best in this series.
AU in a lot of trouble. Moon should be able to find him, and he does. Roll away as well from Tim's. He just gets the hell out of there immediately, and that tier 1 tower mid could be pushed down now. Ajit is there. Does have the Helm of the Dominator available and has a lot of creeps with him. And this is one of those things you're going to be scared about with the Mineski draft, John. It pushes really darn fast, so you can't really afford to lose any team fights. So they will banish up the TA, but of course they won't go for anything out of this. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, look at Gabby bot lane. He's just pushing out that tier 2 tower. He forces out the Brewmaster split just so the tower won't go down. He's not going to find a kill onto Gabby, but nevertheless, mid lane. OD is being jumped on right now, and the roll will not end up connecting onto Ajit. They will end up finally getting that tier 1 tower. Meanwhile, Gabby is still in a cyclone. Still flying around. Mineski will lose their top tier 1 tower. However, at the very least, they will deny it. So they deny the gold from TNC. But 2 tier 1 towers going down very quickly. And make that another tier 2 tower going down, John.
I mean, you were saying about Mineski's push. I think Gabby is doing a fairly good job as well. For a pile of walking water mud, he sure hits hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, he basically took that tier 2 down bot solo. Sure, it took maybe a few minutes. A lot of damage came over a massive length of time, but Gabby's pushing by himself, and I can't say why Mineski's leaving him alone to do this. He's very susceptible to a gank right now, but Mineski seems happy enough to ignore Gabby, which is strange in my view, because we've seen what he can do with here once he has some farm and XP in.
They are going to roll in. Tims, he rolls into 3 of them, but the Magnetize is very nice. And now the Echo, but the Sanities was there from Armel. It's a lot of damage, and here comes Gabby. He wants to rip them all apart, although Nice Fisher comes in. Arjit could not right-click Tims. The Astral was just too darn quick. Armel will claim another victim for himself. Meanwhile, Cuckoo and Gabby get started on the T1 tower and finish the job as well. I thought they were crazy for letting the Earth Spirit roll in like that. But Tims, he just keeps rolling, John. He's trying to find more. Raging Potato will get scouted out. Tims has the boulder smash, but looks like he is out of range. They will allow Raging Potato to just run his way out of there. But like I was trying to say, I thought Tims was a bit nutty for rolling into 3 heroes like that, but apparently they couldn't kill him, John.
Yeah, that's very strange. The fact that TNC got away with such a wonky initiation was quite odd. The fact that Tims lived true was equally weird. He was standing on a trap for a bit, right? I believe that might have been charged up long enough to do some damage. So that might have been enough to kill him off, but just a bit too slow in the uptake here for Mineski. It's slightly worrisome. They do smoke up now, trying to find something, or at least drop some deep wards, but they might be able to find Armel, I suppose.
It'd be a big pickup if they do. The Wolves are there to block an Armel. They didn't actually keep blocking him. They let him move forward. They didn't want to make it obvious. And now Armel going to get caught out. Can they burst him down? Absolutely they can. KP hitting so hard with those crits. Now they will get started on that T1 bot tower, which again, with the Lycan, although he had a terrible start, can take towers very quickly regardless. It's like Moon on that TA. Still trying to get that farm up. He's not doing badly, but he's not doing amazing either, it seems. Like,
he is tied up with Gabby. I think that's a pretty good spot to be in. Did opt for the Blink Dagger first. It's always a bit of a toss-up which items these TAs go for. I think the Blink Dagger here is pretty darn good, as you do need a way of really jumping around, keeping at least pace with the Morphling if the need comes up. So I think that first pick is pretty good. Again, not too bad farm for Moon, just like what, 7 CS behind Gabby. So it's really not too bad for inside Mineski right now. Less than 1k enough lead for TNC. Map control is definitely on the side of TNC, but not by much. It's basically by just one tier 1 tower left in the map. Looks like TNC is going to attempt that Roche now, and again with Cuckoo's Ursa, that is fairly easy to do, but we do scout that.
yeah, well, Raging Potato, he is going to get slowed up, and Echo Slam was committed. And Raging Potato will end up losing his life. They're going to lose that Roshan anyway, although they may go for a steal. Mineski hesitating, and they will not run in. Moon decided last minute he tried, but was unsuccessful, was pretty late. Mineski, not only do they lose a hero and the Echo, but they lose an Aegis to the side of TNC.
Yeah, it's, I guess, something you have to expect when you are playing against Ursa. Again, they did scout it out of the trap, but not really much you can do to contest at this point. You don't really have... you don't have Echo Slam anyway, so... probably a bit iffy for that fight. So again, Roshan going the way of TNC, and the game is basically just still slowing down, right? You still have both sides trying to find some farm, still have both sides trying to build up for that mid-game. And I really can't blame them, especially after how that last game went. The teams just kind of want to test the waters a bit, put their feet in just slightly and find what they can first. Although, again, I have to say I'm very surprised by Mineski's decision to let Gabby have so much space. I mean, he's just pushing lanes by himself. No one's
Raging
even-
Potato gets caught out again, John. Mid lane, they did find him. Cuckoo claimed that kill for himself on the Ursa.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Things are getting from bad to worse now. Like the tier 3 tower at the bot lane's being knocked on by the Radiant creeps. Tier 2 is going to be pushed in by the side of TNC, and this game is... The net worth advantage isn't that big for the side of TNC, but I feel like with their draft, at this time in the game, like, Mineski is just not ahead enough to actually do anything.
Has fallen.
We've seen this multiple times before, Mike. When you have a Lycan draft at 18 minutes in, it's already having their tier 3s threatened. It's not a good sign, and it's very, very hard to bounce back. At this point, I'm not sure how much Ajit can contribute to the game. He is working onto those tier 3 Necrobooks, which, you know, it's fairly important, but his EXP isn't up there. He's level 9. That's just one level ahead of Tim's Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
One level ahead of the supports on TNC side. He's not doing too much damage in these team fights. He's, you know, he just isn't doing too much with his hero with that. I feel like it's gonna feel like a 4v5 for Mineski for a while. For a long while, it's gonna feel that way.
I mean,
And
on
I'm
that-
not sure if it's ever gonna feel like a 5v5 at some point.
On that point you made about the level of the Lycan, I mean, he was level 9. Gabby is level 15. That's the difference in the position 1s right now. That is a very, very big difference. Mineski, they try to go for a smoke now, but they find Armel.
Dire's top tower
Armel
is under attack.
did see that trap being laid, so he knows something's wrong. They do scout him out, however, with the scan. Raging Potato does have the blink available to be used, but he understands something's wrong. He blinks away. Good game sense there from Armel. And with that, top tier 2 is gone thanks to Gabby. Meanwhile, mid lane, they are going to attempt the push. It looks like the tier 2 probably won't even go down. They leave before they take it. So TNC will be able to hold on to that tier 2 for another few minutes, it seems.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Where TNC, they managed to get all out of towers now from the side of Mineski.
Yeah, again, when you're running a Lycan draft and
Bot lane, John, they found Gabby. That's a big pickup, but it's only an Aegis. They get the tier 2 tower. Now Armel blinks in immediately. The Astral was there. The follow-up stun, although don't tell me they don't have detection.
aw, man.
No.
Oh, nuts.
Moon blinks
Oh, Moon.
away. He didn't realize they didn't have it. Moon, again, no detection. He's just going to stand there. And now, here comes AU. He drops a sentry ward. And they will find the kill eventually. Meanwhile, John, Cuckoo's in a lot of trouble in that mid lane. He wouldn't rage up. Can they burst him down, however? Still trying to make a run. Absolutely nowhere near getting helped, and he does end up going down. Still, though, I feel like if you lose your TA, that's a much bigger deal than losing the Ursa for TNC.
Yeah, definitely. So it's that's your mid laner. That's where a lot of your momentum is riding on for Mineski's side. Just having him die like that is never a good thing. You do manage to get the Aegis off of Gabby, right? That's a pretty good thing. I don't think it's worth trading your TA, especially if you can't follow up with another major kill anyway. So Gabby's just gonna keep doing what he has been doing. He's gonna, I guess, maybe do some chip damage in that tier 3 again. I'm just honestly surprised with Mineski's response to this. It's no response.
Well, they've smoked up, John. They're going to have to defend that tier 3 tower down a bot lane, though Gabby is a very hard target to go for. Not really dealing much damage towards that Morphling. Looks like it will be enough for the side of TNC to back off. So I guess they got what they came for, but the problem is the Radiant side still control pretty much all of the map. So even if you defend that base, if you can't get any gold or XP coming your hero's ways, it's just going to eventually happen that your axes start getting taken.
Yeah, and it just feels like Mineski's playing way too passive a game.
Radiant's
With her
top
lineup,
tower is under attack.
it just feels like this kind of lineup wants to be up fast early, wants to be really aggressive. It hasn't been the case. It's just been really passive. It did nothing in the bot lane. And now you're stuck in the issue where you can't expect Ajit to do too much. He has those Necrobook trees. He's still level 12. He is way too far behind his core.
But don't get me wrong, John. The Lycan still has that amazing split push potential, right? Like, if Ajit wants to, he can ignore a team fight and just go push another lane and do it real quickly and perhaps get something out of it. The only problem is with that kind of strategy, though, is you kind of need your team to be able to drag out a team fight.
Yeah, and it's just not there from Mineski. Especially asking that from 4v5 when...
KP, oh, he gets silenced. They knew they were there, although False Promise will be there in time. He will get the split off. This could be the team fight they needed. AU surely goes down. No, he gets a swap, swaps again. But they do find him. Gabby will morph, throws the Fisher out. Meanwhile, Armel just hiding for the moment. Gabby gonna start man-fighting Moon, and Moon wants to get the hell out of there. Raging Potato as well, just stopping them for the moment. And now Ajit, he comes in to try and fight. It looks like they will find Cuckoo at the very least. So Mineski, 3 hero pickups for them, a very, very nice engagement.
That does narrow the gap down to just 1k. In fact, 1k lead for Mineski, so very good team fight for them indeed, not trading anyone else in that exchange. I feel like if you're TNC, well, maybe clean up a bit. I mean, sure, you had a pretty good start. You've got the tier 3 set up. They can still melt you. You are giving them a way to bounce back in whatever you give away because of how far ahead you guys were. The bounce back is there. So you do have to watch out for a bit. I feel like you want a Blink Dagger up on your Ursa, which is there. So maybe just a Basher left. And then I think TNC can afford to jump in a bit easier, counter-initiate a bit easier. You also want Gabby to finish up his items first, finish up his butterfly at the very least, and then I think you can be a bit more haphazard with your targeting. Otherwise, you know, being that discoordinated will give Mineski a whole bunch of good chances to get back in this game.
Mineski, they planned that one out quite well, though. Like, they scanned out the side of TNC that last team fight. Of course, TNC not expecting that to happen. KP, I mean, he got silenced up as soon as he was walking up that hill. I thought it was going to go pretty darn badly for the Dire side, but that False Promise, allowing KP to split throughout the team fight, really is what made the difference, it seems. It seems like the answer to TNC's newest problem is pretty obvious. Just make sure the Oracle's dead before you engage.
Pretty much. Like, that is really the case in most games where you are playing against an Oracle. Just take off that back line, and the rest of the fight tends to go fairly cleanly. So, as long as they manage to get that targeting on the Oracle, I feel like TNC should be able to follow up quite nicely. I mean, just stopping the Brewmaster from splitting would be big in and of itself.
See now, Butterfly coming out on Gabby. He's hitting very, very hard on this Morphling, and of course the added stats never hurt. Mineski. Smoke coming out, so they're planning the next team fight now. They know exactly where TNC are, but it's just a matter of making the team fight go your way. Mineski, can they get the jump? Gabby, that would be a massive target, but it looks like Gabby's kind of baiting them out. Moon, smoke breaks thanks to Tim's. And this could be bad for Mineski if they stick around. In fact, they have stuck around too long. They get rolled on. Ninja Boogie is out of the team fight, and now Ajit goes into that wolf form, trying to find somebody, but it looks like he's just going to go for a run. Gabby, who the hell is he going for? Apparently nobody quite yet. Cuckoo, he was going after Ajit, but Cuckoo is in trouble, and Cuckoo will end up falling. So 1-for-1 trade for the moment. AU will be the next target, and he's gone as well. Ajit's on a double, although KP now is in trouble. His split has wore off, and with that, Armel will get started, and we'll be able to take him out. Moon finds himself a regen rune, which is quite nice, but Cuckoo is going to continue the chase. Does slow him down. Moon does manage to blink away, however. Are they going to be able to find this TA? Probably not, but Cuckoo does not plan to give up. In fact, never mind, he does, because they found a Roshan.
Yeah, I'd really rather take the Roshan at this point, and again, this does probably mean we're going to see a high ground push from TNC soon, I want to say. At the very least, this Roach does make that option much safer. They did buy back in Cuckoo, though, so I should watch out. I mean, dieback at this point would be a bit painful to watch, and I have to say though, the impact Cuckoo's had with his Ursa has been minimal. I have to say it's really not fitting in. I'm not sure. I would probably peg it as, at this point, being even a bit less impactful than Ajit was a while ago. I mean, at the very least, Ajit was split pushing.
Mid lane. Gabby getting disarmed. He'll be okay now. Moon has to be careful though. Nice Fisher and the Echo comes in. It's a lot of damage on Cuckoo. And they get the Aegis off of Gabby. Can they do it again, however? Waveform will be there. Moon wants to continue the chase, although the trap has been destroyed. And Gabby is so darn tanky right now with all that strength he's morphing into. Though Fisher again comes in from Raging, and they hold him in place. Though AU will swap and get him out of there. The TP is there from Gabby, and he'll be okay. And it looks like they'll get everyone else out, but Mineski, I don't know how they're clawing their way back into this game. 28 minutes in, John, but they're doing it.
They're really exploiting the weaknesses in TNC's movement. Just having two heroes jump in when everyone else is way too far behind. Pumping up like that for an Echo Slam. Knowing that you have no buyback. Pretty risky plays from TNC, and frankly, risk that they don't need to take. It's really curious as to why TNC is playing like this. It's odd. Maybe it's a bit of confidence coming in, but I feel like they have to temper it down a bit. Start to really watch the map a bit more. Start to loop up properly more. I mean, not too close because there's an Earthshaker, but properly be spaced within each other.
Moon?
And
Moon? Running by him, and he gets out of there.
yeah, nah, that's strange. Very, very strange. But I believe the second game has been a bit strange, hasn't it, Mike?
It certainly has been. Nevertheless, a 10-11 now, 29 minutes in. 3k net worth lead. In fact, make that 4k to the side of Mineski. John, in games like this, I always like to bring up the Dota Plus probability. And apparently we are at 52% the way of Mineski. So, Gaben does believe in Mineski, John.
I think that's a fair point to make. I mean, they do still have ways of really pulling out of this one. I don't know what to say. It's just it's harder for them to get those right conditions, but they have been working quite well with it.
So we go into that quiet period again. Game number 2. Both teams just waiting for that right opportunity. What's he building into? He's going for a Scythe of Vice next, which I do feel like is a very smart decision, especially up against that Morphling. Super effective for that TA. Like Ajit has... He hasn't really caught up to the other cores, but he's at that point now, John, where he's just fine how he is, right? Like, maybe he can't tank as much damage, but he could still do the job that a Lycan needs to do throughout the team fights.
Yeah, he has the pretty much a minimum you expect from a Lycan. Although you probably expect this a bit earlier, but as long as it comes to this point, he can do some work now. He split pushes quite well. He does good enough damage in the middle of team fights, actually, and he is contributing a lot to his team. TNC really feels like they've tapered off quite a fair bit. All their eggs are still on Gabby right now. I mean, our Mel's OD feels like its impact has been a bit minimal as well. And we certainly see Cuckoo just not being a factor at all in these fights. So it does feel like TNC is starting to slide off quite hard. And Mineski is making up for lost ground quite well.
TNC did smoke up, but it appears the side of Mineski were aware. Perhaps they just have very good game sense, because they back off on their own and they might go for a smoke of their own. In fact, they do. This could be massive. Another one team fight for Mineski, and I mean, it could just be a one-way swing. But they can't really afford to lose either, because all that advantage they've gained could just be lost immediately. Now TNC, though, probably not interested in fighting this. Cuckoo, oh, the Hex was there onto the Earth Spirit. AU again trying to save the day, but a double kill out to Moon now. The swap worked against them. They will get everyone else out, but the two supports of TNC are lost in the process.
TNC's definitely bleeding out a bit, but all these kills they're giving away, all the ground they're losing here, just trying to find farm right now on OD, I suppose, and maybe some more farm on Gabby. It feels really worrying for TNC after such a good start, and it's really good for Mineski. Like, this is definitely a breath of fresh air for them. Second wind, if you want, that they can find these kills.
Cuckoo. He found Raging Potato, though KP jumps in, but it's too late. Raging Potato is gone, and now Ajit will commit the wolf form. Cuckoo copying a lot of damage, though Ajit just disappears. Gabby rips him apart. My goodness. Now they're going to chase for more. The split has been committed. They will get rid of the Fire Remnant.
Middle tower is under attack.
KP still making a run, still has plenty of time, although there's only one spirit left. And nowhere. Nice echo comes in from Raging Potato, but it won't really do that much. There was no follow-up, although now here it is. Moon jumps in with that BKB. He's doing a lot of damage, and KP cleaning up a lot of kills here. Gabby now in massive trouble, those sanities. It doesn't do enough. Gabby's still surviving thanks to that Astral, and he finds a kill onto KP apparently. Now he'll go back into the team fight, finds Raging Potato. Can they find more? Armel is still making a run for it. Gabby is on a triple kill, John. How the hell is this happening? Armel will now turn around onto Moon. What the bloody hell did we just watch? Moon goes down, Gabby finds an ultra kill, and apparently one Astral can do that, John.
That is wild. This is what I expected from Warframe. This is the kind of team fights you expected from TNC 10 minutes ago. And it's coming together for them now. They managed to take a full team wipe like that. After a really wonky start, I have to say. It's just kind of odd. I think the key thing there was that Mineski did not get the initiation they wanted. They were walking in to that high ground again, that blind spot, and there were sentries down. So even with that Shadow Blade up on our Earthshaker, it wasn't enough. And they are going to pay hard for that. Just a lot of towers, a lot of racks going to be melting here, man.
Well, this is one of those times, John, I wish we had like a live replay service. Because that was just a... I mean, I don't know. Understand how TNC turned it around. Like Gabby just somehow lived. Anyway, move on from that. Gabby does manage to claim 2 Raxes for himself, and now TNC are firmly ahead. I mean, I did mention, John, they couldn't afford to lose a team fight on the side of Mineski. It was going to be very costly, and one more Rax. Mega creeps are back up, and Mineski's draft, they don't exactly deal the best with Megas.
Yeah, outside of Templar Assassin, you really do kind of struggle to wave clear. I mean, I guess you can make an argument that Shaker can. It's just not that fast, you have to admit. So you will have a bit of an issue trying to push back those mega creeps, and that just makes it harder for Lightning split push, which is really key here now. I feel like Ajit just finding space in the chaos to side push the lane, and just 2 racks down, that just gets a bit harder when all racks are down up against mega creeps. I'm not sure if you can even do that anymore.
Depends. I mean, look, they could get themselves back in the lead, Mineski. We've seen stranger things happen in Dota games. MKB will come out onto Moon. Now he's hitting like an absolute truck. No missed chance left for him. The TNC. Looks like they're ready to go as well. Both teams eyeing out that Roshan. Mineski do have a TA trap in there, so they are going to be well aware of when somebody runs in. Gabby. And with fire here. Run into the Roche pit with that Invis rune. So again, he is being... Well, Cuckoo's being scouted out with that TA trap. And now, Mineski, they have pretty good engagement with the Raging Potato on that Earthshaker, and they are going to jump in with KP instead. Fisher will go out onto Gabby, but again, AU will be there with the swap. KP did commit the BKB. Now, top lane. Earth Spirit does not get caught out quite yet. The Astral was there in time from Armel. Once again, Tims gets swapped out from AU. A lot of teamwork, although AU has been lost. Meanwhile, the split does go out, and everyone else is out of the team fight. The buyback was there immediately from AU on the Vengeful Spirit. They do move into the Roshan pit. Now, this is a quick Roshan. TNC do not have time to think about this. Armel, he'll jump in straight away. KP Spirits are copying a hell of a lot of damage, but that doesn't matter too much. Meanwhile, Ursa is copying damage himself. Gabby trying to go after the Roshan. KP snatches it, however. He managed to take it just in time, and he will end up dying for his trouble, it seems. However, the team fight will continue. Fisher will go down to block the way, and AU dies back on that Vengeful Spirit. KP manning up, saving the day, and Cuckoo's life is also lost in the process. And John, that was the kind of thing Mineski needed to do to keep in this game.
Definitely so. Just a nice aggressive play and spots where they know they have the advantage. They didn't even have to expend Echo Slam yet, so Raging Potato does have that option the next time they take a fight. And I'm a bit worried for TNC now. No buyback and Venge. Cuckoo's not going to be there in the next fight. If they do force the issue now, it's going to be a bit wonky.
Raging Potato, he didn't even commit the Echo Slam throughout that, by the way. He still holds on. TNC, they're going to find a big pickup if they can get it, and Moon, he gets melted. They weren't expecting that out of TNC, but a quick smoke rotation from 2 cores and the support of Earth Spirit. They do just burst down the TA with that Scythe of Ice from Armel. And at the very least, that's going to slow any plans from Mineski down quite a lot.
Definitely so. No buyback on that TA. We're going to see the Satanic coming out in Gabby as well. I think TNC must be feeling pretty comfy. Granted, they do still lack buyback in one of their supports. Not the most pivotal thing in the world, so I feel like if they're going to make a move, it's going to be here. I want to note, Mike. I want to know... Oh,
Yeah,
Gabby has not died yet, so the moment he dies, it's going to be big.
Let's hold on to that note, John, because Raging Potato will throw out a double Fisher. Now, here comes KP. Again, BK being up immediately, and Tims is out of the team fight. Ninja Boogie, however, he's also lost. They'll throw the split out. They're trying to go after this Morphling. In fact, no, hold on a minute. It's the Morphling going after the Brewmaster. They're going to chase for more. They find nobody, although Arjit is being chased by the creep wave. He will make it out in time. Cuckoo was there, but he had no way to bash him anyway. And that was a support for a support, although they did at the very least force out the buyback from Ninja Boogie.
Yeah, it's getting really tight for the game. Like, one small team fight could potentially end the game, so neither side is really looking hard to commit. Or at the very least, they're both looking to lose as little as possible here, and just having your sports trade like that is pretty good. I think the big thing here is that Gabby is wasting a few of those BKB charges, so that number is going down and down, which is not ideal, but at the same time we're at 40 minutes in, so it's something to be expected at this point in the game.
TNC find themselves once again in the driver's seat, it seems. For that last Rax. Or Satanic again is up on Gabby. Has got an MKB queued up for his next item. Meanwhile, Cuckoo does pick up a Basher. See Arjit, he gets a BKB up. Not the greatest of timing once again, but any item that he can find right now is worthwhile for the team. You can see they're just waiting for their moment to pounce. They're going to go for a smoke. That line being drawn out. Question is, how are they going to get there? They do have a smoke on AU, and they will just de-warding to make sure. Although, oh, Moon, he can't afford to die. Without a buyback available, that's going to be massive. Although he does have one. He does have the gold available now. Can they burst him? However, nice swap from AU. In fact, he's looking for another one to swap as we speak. And they can force the buyback out of Moon. A very, very important kill for TNC. Gabby will morph immediately into the Brewmaster. Now KP will jump in. Okay, Gabby's still holding onto that Satanic. Meanwhile, it looks like Arjit did end up morphing into the wolf form. So he only really sent his creeps in. Cuckoo jumps in, although Fisher was there immediately, though he wants to rip apart Raging Potato. False Promise was committed on that Earthshaker. Now KP, he moves forward, still has the Primal Split available. Meanwhile, Cuckoo just trying to hide and stay safe. They won't find him quite yet, and it looks like he's just going to hold on for the moment with that Blink Dagger. In fact, he jumps straight back into Ninja Boogie, although he will get killed off immediately. Now Armel, he's in a bit of a hard place right now, although no, he's not. The Sanities gets dropped. He takes 2 down, and now Gabby going for more, although he needs to back the hell out of there. Just go for the racks if you can. Moon is trying to dish out some damage, but he can't dish it out enough quite yet. AU again with the swap, keeping him alive, and Armel will find the kill onto Raging Potato. Though buybacks are coming out left, right, and center, John. It's a hell of a team fight. Armel still running. Gabby still trying to take the racks, but he's going to get taken down at this point. They stun him up. He'll force stuff out. No, he'll waveform back in. He doesn't know what he's doing. In fact, he does get the racks out just in time. He's got so much HP right now. Meanwhile, Moon trying to man-fight Armel, but he gets taken out, and that's a dieback on the TA. This could be all over. KP is still fighting for his team. He'll get Gabby, actually, so it's not over quite yet. Tim's is the only man left, and he goes down. It's a full team wipe, finally, from the side of Mineski. But they've lost all their Raxes, John.
It's going to be a very hard time defending this without the TA, your main wave clear. I think one key thing for Mineski in that fight was that at the very least they managed to kill off Gabby. He was worth a lot of gold if you saw that. That's still a massive swing back the way of Mineski, and you know, it looks like he will fight to the bitter end, which I can't blame them for. You know, it's one less best of 3 you have to play. Your position would be secured for the playoffs, and you know, it's not something you really tap out of at this point. So they still have a chance to come back in. It's just so much harder with how the creep wave is going to be constantly pushing in now. I don't see Ajit managing to do a split push as fast as he'd want, especially since his team's wave clear again. It's just not fast enough.
See what the plan is. I mean, these team fights are just so exciting, John. It's just fantastic to watch. KP actually getting him MKB up now on that Brewmaster. Really does feel like KP is the position 1 of Mineski right now. He is just slightly ahead of the Lycan or Cuckoo. They get caught out. He blinks, but KP blinks right behind him. Fisher was not there in time, but they force out the BKB, and now here comes Ajit. He runs darn fast as a wolf. Cuckoo, can he juke them out? Running through the tree line, and he's trapped, although he'll in range and try to man fight. He's wasting a lot of time here. He's still got no backup, however, and he will not survive. His team, though, they do come in eventually. Ajit will be able to get out of there with the BKB. Now Armel can't afford to die, though. Raging, he throws the Echo in. Now Gabby gonna man fight against 2 heroes. Primal Split was there, but he goes after Raging Potato, and he does find him. Now KP, he can't really afford to die right now, but it looks like he just may. He will stun up the Vengeful Spirit, but AU is gonna continue that chase and has the swap available, but he can't use it quite yet on that Earth Spirit. He's just got to time it right, and KP is way too quick on the fingers, although hold on a minute. Boulder Smash will not connect. Tim's just gives up on it.
Yeah, again, a very long extended exchange there for both teams. While all that was happening, Mineski does lose 1 tier 4. Another one of her tier 4s drops down to 600 HP, so very precarious spot for Mineski to be in. And again, that's just one of the weaknesses of their draft. Like, the moment they leave the space, they cannot wave clear fast enough. The supports can't wave clear fast enough. They're going to take a lot of small chip damage onto their key structures just by opting to go in these chases. And I'm not sure if it's worthwhile at this point.
Well, they're going to go for a Roshan play now, TNC. They were scanned out, but Mineski, they can't really leave the base right now. Refresher Shard will be given a Cuckoo. There's not really the greatest of Refresher Shard holders. Apart from maybe the OD. Like, that double hammer would be really, really nice in these team fights. You could give it to AU as well. He could have 4 swaps instead of 2, but for the moment, Cuckoo will hold on to it. Moon, we've seen this before, John. He's sitting in that mid lane, but he's kind of exposed right now. Be okay. Armel wasn't able to run there in time to get the Hex off. On disc onto Raging Potato now. He's just trying to survive throughout these engagements. He's got to ensure he gets a big echo off and keep throwing out those fishes. Mineski, they will jump in straight onto Cuckoo, and he dies. Now Echo as well. It's a lot of damage coming out onto Armel, but the swap again from AU to save the day. They've lost the Aegis, however. Gabby, he got melted, and now Moon, they're going to keep going. In fact, they've stunned him up. This could be really bad. Arjit has found AU, and there's the waveform TP play. Gabby, oh, my goodness. That was a close call. We'll just follow that attack.
Dire's middle
No,
tower
in fact, it just disappeared on me, John.
Such just the way of Dota 2
There
particle
it is.
effects, Mike, but
There it is.
oh,
Oh, and it misses.
very close, Mike, very close. I'm glad you watched it. Surely it would have been a very big threat to Gabby.
Oh, absolutely.
That point.
Underneath his own fountain. And a
100%.
massive threat.
But yeah, good hold from Mineski, I guess. A bit messy from TNC with that engagement. Again, every time this happens, though, just the base takes a bit more damage. I mean, most of the structures now are falling. Like, T4's at 383, and TNC hasn't even touched those yet themselves. So I feel like even if TNC is just distracting people, it's eventually going to fall. Yes, Mike?
Look at Gabby and Armel, John.
Yes,
They're
Mike?
waiting for something.
Yes,
T4
Mike?
tap.
Okay. I
Or
mean,
just goes down to the creeps. I mean, we talked about it. They can't defend the base against mega creeps that well.
is that what they're doing? They're not waiting for someone to go out of the lane, I think. They're just waiting for the game to end itself. That's some next level stuff, but I don't think that's gonna happen. They're still gonna keep up the fight. They do have ways of, you know, not getting absolutely overrun. Although, yeah, with Moon around, it's not gonna fall. So
Yeah.
maybe kill off Moon first before you hit game.
TNC, they're literally just going to wait for the right opportunity, hoping Moon steps out of position. KP would be another very nice target if they could find it. So, as long as that false promise is available on that Oracle, it's definitely going to be a very hard kill. Might have to get a swap away from that Oracle first. Smoke is there from TNC. This could be the last team fight of Mineski. If they do not win this, it would just be all over. In fact, it probably is because the Ancient's exposed.
Yeah, more than likely it will be.
They're going for that swap attempt, John, and Moon has to be so careful. AU moving forward, he gets the swap, and there's the Hex as well. Moon, he is getting melted, although look at those high ground misses and the false promise once again coming in for Moon. He'll make a run for it, and he'll survive throughout all of that. Though, shit, he finds AU. Who else are they going to find? Cuckoo, he will get Moon at the very least at the end. It looks like, did he tick down to the false promise? I mean, the false
There
promise
was too
could
much
keep him alive.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was too much damage, yeah.
Nevertheless, he
have
has
buyback.
buyback. He does have a buyback available. He's just waiting to see if they are going to push, but the biggest threat right now is the Mega Creeps. He kind of needs to be there to defend with his team right now. Holds on to
Tell
the
me,
buyback.
TNC pulled back to let the creeps do work again.
Quite legitimately, yes, they are.
I mean, it's a 4v4. I think that's still a situation that TNC feels pretty comfy with. Although, probably the lack of BKB and Gabby is the one holding factor. Like, he gets stun locked by Raging, he's still pretty dead. So I think that's a fair point from TNC. It just kind of looks funny. Yeah, it definitely looks like they want the creeps to do the work. I mean, they've done damage on the Ancient already. 500 damage.
They have. That is true. TNC are going to walk their way in, and again, it'd be very nice to force this buyback. Oh, KP. Oh, Echo Slam comes in. Gabby, he'll be okay, but he's gone.
No.
He gets critted by KP. Has the buyback available, however. So TNC will be alright. But Mineski, hold on for a moment longer.
These creeps do a massive amount of damage, though.
They are, John, but they hold on for just a bit longer. The tip's coming out of respect, I'm sure. TNC, they're struggling to get that Ancient, John. It isn't as easy as it looks.
Yeah, I think one thing is that the damage coming out once you stun lock this Morphling is pretty darn good. So, boils down to just how well you can time that BKB and how well you can expect Raging Potato. I think that's the key factor here for both TNC and Mineski.
Armel? Down Raging Potato, Aeon Disc was there, and now Armel has been slowed down. Could be in massive trouble here. He's being surrounded, the Fisher block as well. He can't get that Arcane Rune. Raging. He will refresh and drop the hammer, although he's still in trouble. AU again will save the day, though he may give his own life away for this. In fact, well, Raging, that's the wrong way, sir. Though False Promise will be there to save the day for the moment. Cuckoo trying to make a run for it. TNC got to be so careful not to throw this game right now. In fact, Tims may lose his life to Arjun, and he does, and they've lost Cuckoo as well in the Ursa. 3 heroes down for TNC right now. The Morphling had died earlier on, so he's going to respawn in just a moment, but both those heroes, John, no buyback available on the side of TNC.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit rough for TNC. They're gonna have to hold out for a bit before committing to anything crazy again. Roshan gonna be up in a minute, so even when that Rosh is up, they're gonna be lacking Tims, which is gonna be a bit of a rough time to contest that Rosh pit. Does look like slowly but surely Mineski is working their way across the map, and I think if you're TNC, you start to wonder a bit if you've thrown a bit too much the way of Mineski. It's certainly feeling a bit like that. I feel like TNC is definitely still on top though, but they've given Mineski a way back into this game. I mean, look, there's no outer towers left, Mike, and I can't definitely say TNC's won yet because they've lost the last few team fights.
It is a rather strange predicament, isn't it? Mineski pushing in that mid lane a bit. They've got to go for this. I mean, there's 2 heroes down with no buybacks. Like, this is the best chance they've got so far. And it happens very quickly as well, thanks to that Lycan. Although swap KB, oh, he's found himself in trouble. Raging misses the Echo as well. He was just a bit short, and the swap again from AU, just to ensure he goes down. Had he hit that Echo Slam, John, it may have made a world of difference. There was a lot of creeps there, but wasn't enough. KP could not get the split off in time. Now TNC, again, rushing towards that mid lane, trying to force those buybacks out.
Ooh, this is gonna be big.
Buybacks coming out pretty fast.
Gabby with that double damage could potentially just end the game if he decides to. If
Yeah,
he
I
can
mean,
just stand uncontested.
hitting 900 damage per right click is pretty nice.
But they play it safe. Looks like they will, I guess, wait for Roche. Will be up. They do spot it with her courier.
Mineski, all props to these guys, John. I mean, they're putting on a real fight. But it's not easy to hold on when you've got a team like TNC consistently pushing you like this.
You know what this is, Mike? You know what I like to call this? This is the C defense. This is when, you're playing a game that you believe to outright been lost, but you don't give up. You just don't give the satisfaction to the other team. And that's exactly what this is. This is Southeast Asia at its finest. This is why everyone still plays Dota in Southeast Asia, because there's something about it that just truly turns you into a despicable human being. And it's kind of fun. It's just kind of fun, Mike.
Thank you for that, John. I mean, I was going to go down the route of, like, good sportsman and trying to actually win, but... Or actually, Gabby. They don't jump in quite yet. Fisher. It's alright. They committed the wolf form, but they didn't actually make the jump. So now, without that wolf form available, I mean, you'd feel like TNC would make the jump in.
This is some next level mind games from both sides. They're both really playing safe now, Mike. They're really scared to commit, and I think that's fair enough, especially with how the last few fights have gone topsy-turvy. And the double damage runes here again for Gabby.
Yeah. I mean, Why the hell not? Cuckoo even telling them to just give up.
I mean, we have a Moonshard in Gabby now. We have double damage. Guy attacks every 0.35 seconds.
Cuckoo, AU, Glimmer KP is there. Sanities will do not really much. KP running in with that BKB. Meanwhile, on the left side, they have found Raging Potato, but he's still fine. Moon is the main target, but he gets to walk away with to fight another day. Gabby being flown up in a cyclone. Meanwhile, Raging is still running around, kiting them. Where the hell's the team fight even going on at this point? Moon, he's going after Cuckoo, but Cuckoo just turns around. Would somebody hit the damn Ancient? Echo Slam comes out onto Gabby, although Raging's life has been lost. Now KP, hammer been dropped. Mel finds him. The buyback's coming in, but this looks like it's it. There's only 3 heroes left on the side of Mineski. TNC gonna keep going. The Fisher will come out onto Moon. Gabby's had enough, and he's just hitting the Ancient, and it is all over. 57 minutes in, John. TNC will claim game number 2 and will take this series 2-0. But what a hell of a game we just watched.
Yeah, definitely, Mike. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. 30-34, only a 3k lead for TNC, despite how that game went. Despite them getting mega creeps fairly early on, maybe 10 minutes ago. 10 to 15 minutes ago. Only a 3k net worth lead. A really solid defense coming out from Mineski. Just not quite enough, but making the most from a bad start like that. It was really quite the game to watch, Mike, and